Boom! Bandy Wolf done here playing some more Pillars of Eternity 1. Welcome to the playthrough. I'm diving into this instant classic from Obsidian Entertainment. I'm trying to 100% the game and unlock all 26 achievements along the way. So whether you're here for just the game itself, full adventure, or to check out how to get a specific achievement, you're in for a ride, I guess. So we're here with my character, I think his name is Crane, with his boar Ichabod, and we are deep within Silent Lease. From the last episode, there was a couple things happening. Sorry, I gotta remind myself how to play. There was a couple things that happened.
The ruin of Silent Lease.
Let's listen to this guy.
Was a daunting dungeon to design, but also very gratifying, as this was our chance to set the bar for our dungeons throughout the game. This was also one of the later dungeons designed during development. Oftentimes, the beginning of the game is the last content you end up producing. This is to ensure all the systems needed to make the experience fully fleshed out are implemented and functional so they can be taught to the player properly during this first moments of gameplay. Thus, by the time this dungeon was designed, we had learned many valuable lessons about the ways we could push the layout and flow of a dungeon, as well as utilize all systems in the game that at this point had been fully fleshed out. We also felt in many RPGs the starter dungeon often felt like a bland guided experience intended on cramming tutorials down the player's throat. We certainly didn't want Silent Lease to repeat such a formula. We didn't want the player to be completely unfamiliar with the game's core mechanics either. That being said, we opted to have a very open-ended experience for the player. Each route the player takes in the dungeon will introduce them to yet another mechanic or feature in this game, whether it be detecting traps, scouting, or the use of scripted interactions. But neither is dependent on the other. The player has a choice here to choose their playstyle and be rewarded for it. The reward will then reinforce the value of this mechanic, while simultaneously teaching the player the role it plays in Pillars of Eternity.
Okay, that was the developer commentary of the game. I really like listening to those. As I was saying, we are just off of some things that happened. Our entire caravan got killed. That's the first thing. And then we were about to save a few of them, mainly Kalisha here and Hayden, our thief and our fighter that we have. And then some guys killed everyone. We were about to save them, we killed all the dudes. And then there was a Beowulk, which is basically like a soul wind that rips your soul from your body. Just, weather. So, give me a second. Take me a big gulp of water, and we have a trembly, sickly creature emerges from the dark, clutching a spear. Knobbly elbows and thin ribs show through its scaly flesh, but you recognize it as a Zarup. It watches you cautiously, breathing in ragged sighs. It's okay, I won't hurt you. It recoils, fingers still wrapped tightly around its spear. It cocks its head and approaches you, a soft clicking sound emanating from the back of its throat. So we'll just slowly back away and then move forward, and he goes hostile. We basically used him to get a few benevolence points. This is a race of creatures that's unique to Pillars of Eternity. I think it's a really cool kind of new thing for... it kind of, again, helps... differentiate from other CRPGs and like worlds like Lord of the Rings and that goblins and orcs type thing. I did want to showcase something kind of cool. We have our bestiary, which tells us all about the creatures. The Zorps are reptilian humanoids about the size of Orlans. They adorn themselves with the bones of fallen enemies, mostly Zorps from rival tribes. They also have an affinity for large feathers, which they hang and pin on their attire. Zorp skin tones can vary from light green to a rustic brown. Their elongated snouts, which makes speech impossible, and overly aggressive behavior have hindered them from communicating with the more civilized races of the world. They live in secluded tribal territories and are known for ruthlessly attacking anyone foolish enough to cross their path. They revere dragons as deities and build their communities around the lairs of these powerful creatures. It is not uncommon for a small tribe to wander nomadically until it has found a drake or dragon to worship. And once a tribe dedicates itself to a dragon, they will defend it at all costs. Elaborate rituals in which the dragon consumes Zarup sacrifices are a normal practice. As the dragon grows in age and size, these sacrifices become large religious events that cost the lives of hundreds of Zarups. Power and prestige of a Zarup tribe directly correlates with the age of its dragon. The most powerful tribes have existed for hundreds, if not thousands, of years. Warriors and shamans of these large tribes typically paint their bodies to resemble these draconic gods. So I really like the bestiary. It tells us about some of these new races. We've seen wolves as well, but I don't think those need to be explained. And we got a tutorial here.
Be quiet.
We are going to...
Found something.
We are going to... what do you call it? We are going to disarm these traps. There's a way to also do it in a little bit faster, but we also get quite a bit of XP for just disarming every single one of them, which will be pretty important at the beginning, at least. And I don't think these traps we get. I don't think we get any traps specifically, but later when we actually disarm traps, we will get we will actually get the trap itself, and we can use it as a offensive ability. Not that we will. I think what I'll do is sell them. I'm not much of a traps person. I know in other games, like I'm also doing playthrough of Baldur's Gate 2. They're busted, I think, in Enhanced Edition anyway. But it's not my style of play, so we're just going to use them for XP. I think we also can look at the active effects. No, it's still just a strange illness. I think that it progresses as we move forward.
Just like the tiles. Sure, I saw it on one of the tiles back there.
And we can take this, and a symbol of a patterned circle is inscribed on this pillar. An unlit brazier sets at its base. It could be lit if you had the means. So we could also use our fire. If we were a fire god, we could light it up, but we're not, so we're just going to use the torch. And I think we can light all these ones. This is the way that you would handle this puzzle if you didn't have, like, Hayden. I think he can die, potentially. In that, story section of the last episode. It will, disarm some of those traps. This mural must be ancient, yet the colors, rude, are still bright and vivid. It shows a procession of Ingwithans from all the Kith races: Amauan, Elf, Orlan, and Human, Dwarf. They walk amongst pillars similar to the ones that span this chamber, each one topped with a flame. So apparently these are supposed to stand for the different races, I guess. Okay, let's head over this way. We got an enemy here. And we got another slime, or oozes, I'm sorry. And we need to... Why was he not... Oh, we want to do this aggressive. So we got some ooze plasm. We got a poleaxe. Where did that slime come from? Viscous and oily, this muck clings to anything it touches. Okay, so we got a viscous slick of something dark and tar-like runs down this wall. The shapes and bulges in the ooze suggest that something lies beneath it, but you can't tell what. And so we're going to use our water skin to clear it off. You rinse the ooze away, revealing an intricate relief of a man's face. The sunburst surrounding it is chipped away in places, but the detail of his head, from the tight curls of hair to the ridges of his pointed ears, still showcase remarkable craftsmanship. One eye socket is empty, and a gem fills the other. So you don't have the item needed to use this just yet. So we're going to head back and look for it. As always, Ichabod is our point man. He's going to be taking us where we need to go. We just follow him. And I think this is the...
Wait, do you hear that?
I think this is exactly what we needed. Yeah, so we got a Engwithan relief gem. Oh, what did I do with that? Did I send it to the stash? I did. I meant to examine it. This is a tattered journal. It says, this small folio is torn in several places and blood has soaked into several of the sheets. One later entry is still legible. It says, I can't believe my luck. A few rounds of dice and I've got my hands on a genuine Engwithan artifact. Fellow who had it said it was a pretty nothing, but as far as he's concerned. He's not willing to go digging in some ruin, but he's right about this gem leading to a few hidden treasures, and that's worth sneaking past painted elves. We'll head to Salant Lys in the morning, then it's just a matter of finding this relief that he's talking about. So this guy, dead. And then we've got this brilliant blue gem has been sculpted to look like an eye. If that wasn't enough of a clue, besides the journal, we can run back here with fast mode and put our gem in the little eye socket there. Place it. The chamber begins to rumble, stray rocks dancing across the tile floor. Finally, a large section of the wall gives way. And we unlocked a little secret room here with another ooze. Sorry, the pause functions are different between Baldur's Gate 2 and this. We can get some more ooze plasma. That's for crafting. We got a cloak and 2 ingredients, Adra and Amethyst. And we are going to open up. I do want to read the Adra, because the Adra is kind of an important, like, resource or material. It's a crystalline, organic structure, but shell-like in substance. Adra can be found growing up through the ground and veins in many parts of Aora, and that's the kind of the world. Easy to carve and manipulate, it is a favorite of jewelers as a semi-precious stone, and it is often cut more intricately and beautifully than the other gems. And then we also have that cloak, which I think right now it's just going to go to me. All right. Oh, we did it have a description? No. Some of these items are unique, and I do love to read the descriptions of items. When I play through these games at least once, because it's kind of like Dark Souls, where it gives you a little bit of like background lore. He screamed at us. This is a sculder. This is another something that's unique to this world, and we'll take a look at the bestiary for it. So we got oozes, which I don't think need to read those. Maybe I will read some of these every once in a while. But so the Skulders are large mammalian creatures that dwell in caves in total or near total darkness. As a result, they have poor vision and rely on their sense of hearing to navigate and find prey. The protrusions and hairs on their ears allow them to detect airflow, which is key to telling direction in an underground environment. They communicate through screeches and clicks and use these vocalizations in the form of echolocation. They're communal creatures and will nest and raise young together. And so what this is, not only does it tell you like it's like a collection to where you can learn about stuff, but as you kill more creatures, you unlock more stats, so you can kind of tell how the best way to handle them are. So haven't defeated many of anything right now. I think when you defeat the first one, it'll give you kind of the what it is.
That looks weak. Could be a shortcut.
Think we could get through?
Okay, so we got another book section. A crack runs along this wall from floor to ceiling. A light gust of air passes. We're going to use our hammer and chisel. You set to work, the cracks lengthen and widen with your efforts, but the process is more taxing than you expect. Sweat beads your forehead and your muscles ache. So we're going to keep going. After several long moments, you begin to see light on the other side. With one final tap, several blocks of stone shift and then tumble loose, clearing a gap just wide enough to pass through. And Hayden offered to scout, but scouting's for sissies. We're just going to roll through these guys. And nope, didn't drop any. Sometimes monsters will drop resources, like I think the Skulders drop ears. Hayden says, you feel like there's a draft coming through the wall. I don't hear any sign of the storm. Now, I remember when I first played that, and Hayden saying that made me, like, paranoid that there was, like, a hidden passage there or something. So I sat and, like, searched for a while, and I think I made a character that was, like, all like, stealth or mechanics or whatever is needed to search. But I think that might be just kind of, like, world building, so to explain that the Beowick is no longer happening outside. So we got some spear spiders. We are not going to have any issue with anything for a while, to be honest. Bats as large as chickens are strung in the web. We got a rapier, and we got a bloodstone, which is a ingredient as well. And those skulders, to me, they just seem to be like bat biopedal bats, if that makes sense. We got a helmet, which I believe it does something. No, doesn't do anything. We'll give it to Kalisha for funsies. And I think we are done in here. We'll move our little party to the next area. Okay, we made it out. Okay, let's see what happens here. It says, 4 figures stand before an otherworldly apparatus, an ancient structure of chiseled Audra and metallic veins, ominous and looming like a silent observer. Standing motionless in their midst is what appears to be a human body, colorless as stone or maybe ash. The other figures gaze upon it in what might be contemplation. From your vantage point, you are well obscured from their view. The figure closest to the machine stands out amongst them. A thick gray beard frames a face otherwise hidden beneath a metallic mask. His faded robes are embroidered with a runic language unlike anything you have ever seen, and he wears a strange black headdress with 2 protrusions that jut out like the wings of some malevolent creature.
Oathbinder, bear witness, and see this man has kept his word true to his last breath, full to his blood's last drop. Guide his soul, queen that was, and regard it among your favored. Let his life by the key be his confession. Let his death by the key be his absolution. May he walk the world ever free of the crushing weight of the book. Your brother has done his part. You have seen the power of his contribution. I will accept no further hesitation from the rest of you. In the sight of the queen that was, will you fulfill the oath? Will you take your place beside your brother in the endless esteem of her memory that is without flaw? Step forth and be assured of the great worth of your life's course.
So some kind of ritual that we're intruding upon. Okay, so we got a book section. It says, for an instant, the apparatus goes quiet and the air is still. Then all at once it erupts with a concussive surge. Light floods your vision and you're knocked to the ground. Your head snaps back as you land, and pain wells into the back of your skull, washing your last thoughts away into the black, unconscious void. You open your eyes to a different place, another time. You stand in a circular room, grand and domed, its walls lined with Audra and trimmed with copper. The style is ancient, but the chamber is unweathered. At the far end, a great pillar of Audra pierces the floor from below, its shimmering texture giving the illusion of boundless depth. Encircling the pillar is an apparatus much like the one you just saw, but immense and multifaceted and intertwined. Your thoughts are yours and not yours. They seem to exist before you think them, and they are all questions. Pressing questions, troubling questions, questions that must be answered. Or, at the base of the pillar now you see a man with a thick gray beard in a ceremonial robe, crowned with a strange ornamental headdress. You know this man. You are walking towards him now at a pace that is hurried while trying not to appear so. You have something you want to ask him. One question above all, and the question spins wildly in your mind. Now we're back, and the dudes are like ash now. We got knocked unconscious. It says, you awaken to find your malaise is broken, only to be replaced with something far more concerning. Faint whispers are audible at the edge of your hearing, like a ringing in your ears that does not subside. Movement flits through your periphery, but when you turn to look, you can see no sign of whatever it was. You find your gaze regularly darting this way and that, an involuntary paranoid tick. If this is a sickness, it may be dangerous to go without treatment for long. The figures at the machine stand frozen in place, flesh and blood replaced by cinders and ash. The men who led them is nowhere to be seen. Hayden and Kalisha lie bloody on the uneven cobbles, their bodies twisted unnaturally in death. You are alone and far from help. Gilded Veil may be your best hope of receiving treatment before things get worse. And we got a level up. So we definitely want to go mechanics. I like to go mechanics right away just to get the ability to get traps and stuff. The cool thing about this is it somewhat breaks the cliche of like thieves are going to be good at lockpicking and stuff, and mages are going to be good at lore, fighters athletics. You can kind of customize your character. The way I do it is kind of like a balance. Mechanics is one that only one person in your party needs to be, so I usually have it be my main character. Lore, if you're going to use scrolls, athletics, actually give you an ability that that's like second wind. It allows you to recover some endurance. Stealth, I'm just not a fan of stealth in this. And survival gives you bonuses when you rest. And of course, these all give you kind of like a bonus to different in conversation challenges. So what we're going to do, I also really like the abilities that you can get. You can really customize your character. Let's see. And then you can also get some small, like all these, besides these ones right here that have the little ranger symbol, these ones are all minor versions of the other classes' abilities. Like for some melee classes, I like to get Veterans Recovery. And some of these also can be useful, like the Gallant's Focus gives you an aura, which that might be useful for our character if he's going to be like ranged. It would be kind of cool to get a ranged aura that increases the accuracy of all the other people that are going to be around him. But I think we're going to stick to some of our class talents. Like Vicious Companion probably, or a Resilient Companion maybe. I think we might get Resilient Companion right now. Just make our boar a little bit tankier. So we have Fatigue, and I think we are fatigued. Fatigue is a condition. It represents the physical and psychological wear and tear of demanding activity. So we don't have our illness anymore, but we're tired. So we are going to pick up our stuff. We're not going to let them walk away with anything that can be sold. At least we have Icky. I think that's what we're going to call our boar. What the hell was that? I've played a little bit of this. I think
The idea of the scene came out of necessity. Initially, this was all supposed to happen somewhere inside the room. However, it clashed with our non-linear philosophies. In order to have the information communicated to the player about Theos and the Soul Machine, it needed to be staged just right and go off without a hitch. By placing it in the ruin itself, it meant some of the non-linearity would need to be sacrificed in order to create a hard gate for the player. So we as designers could make sure we knew the exact moment this event would be triggered. At Obsidian, we often have quests and scenarios that branch in a myriad of ways. Each of these branches are conditioned by what we call gates. These gates keep the game responding to the player by closing off paths and opening new ones based off actions they perform. piece of dialogue, for instance, might be gated by a certain amount of disposition. This helps reinforce the suspension of disbelief for the player because to them, the world is responding according to their actions in a real way. A hard gate, however, implies a more rigid gate, one that is meant to funnel the player to a singular point by making sure the gate is only open by a singular action. In this instance, a hard gate was needed so we could know the exact position of the player as well as make sure they were not in combat or doing some other action simultaneously. This is often achieved by level transitions. Since we know the player cannot travel while in combat, we don't need to worry about that. In one scene results in the visuals of the whole level being curtailed for this one pivotal moment.
Alright, some more about the behind the scenes stuff. That is pretty fun to me to hear. So I figured I'd leave those on. Oh, we see another kind of vision, I guess. Some woman being burned. Getting some vessel flesh. Maybe we can look at the vessel flesh and we can figure out what the hell that is. This reeking flesh once held a bound soul. With its energy fading, the flesh is entering a rapid decay. I think we have another springberry over here. Now, we are going to rest here before we leave, because if you notice down in my corner here, the gray section, that basically means that we do not have any other health left to fill our bar of endurance. I think. Oh no, I see what it is. What it is we have minus 25 maximum endurance. So I think we can keep going. I thought we were emptied out. I think the way that works is that this green bar is our health. This, our face, is our endurance, and then any gray is any reduction to the maximum. When we do get, when we do take enough damage to where we have no more health to fill our endurance,
I only need a minute.
It does that same thing, and that confused me. We should have another developer's commentary here coming up. Okay, we got some camping supplies. I have made it this far at least. Now there's a villager. Ghosty ghost. Dude. Got some blood moss. How do you... There we go.
The Valewood is the first wilderness the player is introduced to in the game. Like any Infinity Engine wilderness, these areas are rife with dangers, treasures tucked away in nooks and crannies, as well as your fair share of characters with tasks or quests of their own. A lot of what we wanted to do with this wilderness was lead the player towards the Gilded Vale, using the characters they meet along the way. By giving the player the option to get involved with either the bandit camp or Naunton down near the south end of the map, it gives the player the impetus to explore the Gilded Vale once they arrive, now that they have acquired a few tasks to investigate. We also wanted to, again, reinforce the non-linearity of the game by putting those encounters off the beaten path, more or less. That way, if the player wanted to beeline straight for the Gilded Vale and happened to miss these NPCs, they could get leads about them in town and come back to the wilderness later.
Okay. Oh, just a little background. We are gonna... Okay, what do we got here? An outlaw. We are going to shoot our wounding shot so he doesn't run up on us. And I don't think Ichabod has any abilities right now. But he is a tanky boy. Plus he's got that damage reduction now, which really helps him. And so we got it. Alrighty. Now we'll head this way. Do believe that there's another encounter here. The young dwarf tending to the stew looks up startled as he sees you approach. This is Tenfrith, the dwarf. He drops his ladle, splattering stew across the ground. What? The bandit turns. Get him, you dogs, and make sure our new cook doesn't run off either. Help, please, help me. Ah! One of the bandits gives Tenfrith a kick as he passes, and he huddles. So we are going to wounding shot this guy. We are going to keep... Yeah. we are going to keep Ichabod in front. We're going to wounding shot both of them to spread out some damage, and then we're going to start working on them one at a time. Now, we should be able to handle these dudes. I don't think we have any other ability. Yeah, we don't have any other abilities besides our damage. And honestly, if Icky goes down, we're going to be in some trouble. I think we missed our wounding shot on this dude. He is having some trouble. So I am going to flank. Man, we are not doing any damage to this guy. Okay, we're slowly burning him down. I'm slightly concerned about Ichabod. I might send him over here on this guy. So I can stop her from, like, slowly tagging him out. And I may even just... this is going to give him a, disengage attack. But I kind of want to do this just to burn her down. Well, that changed my plan because he started to attack him. This is going to be close because Ichabod's going to go down. Which is going to cut my damage. It gives me a debuff. Bonded Grief. -2 might, -2 resolve. If we can take this guy down, I think we'll be okay. Because we do have potions. We're going to drop this one. And she's just an archer, so I don't think she can take us. Yeah, whenever our pet goes down, we get a debuff that makes us much less useful in combat. I did not think that was going to be as close as it was. Got some fruit and money. Grab some of that. Grab some burr. Some mead. Now, the mead, I think, gives us damage reduction, so we really aren't going to use it for this character. Find some vegetables. These are used for, again, crafting. This game has a small, tent is empty, but for a pair of stain cots and the stink of unwashed bodies. Except, it's got a few small things. It's very bare bones. I think that Pillars of Eternity 2 has a better one, but I'm not positive. I've never played that one because I want to play this. And I've always meant to, and since Avowal came out, I'm kind of committing to that now.
Good day, stranger.
It says, by the flame, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thought I'd be stuck cooking for these ignorant weasels for the rest of my life. Or until they were bored with me, I suppose. I must get back home. I only hope they haven't hired a replacement. Listen, next time you're in Gilded Vale, stop by the Blackhound Inn. I'll let Pasha know just what you've done for me, and I'm sure she'll do right by you in turn. Oh, to be back at my oven again. And we got a reputation bonus for Gilded Vale, which is exactly what you'd think. Reputations can be held with communities or factions and will affect how members of the group respond. How do we... There we go. Grab. And I think that might be kind of where I want to stop these. Yeah, about 30 minutes or so, these episodes. We're going to cut this one here, and we'll play some more thank you for joining me playing Pillars of Eternity. I hope you enjoyed the ride. I really enjoyed the series, and I've played a good bit of it, but I mean to finish it. The achievements aren't too bad for Pillars 1, so that's going to be kind of just a fun thing to do on the side. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated on the playthrough. And probably after I finish, I'll make some achievement guides for these. Not that they're needed too much, but it's kind of a completionist thing. So whether you're here for those guides or maybe just the full story of Pillars 1, maybe you're like me and want to hear the like the backstory and like the setup for Avowed. There's plenty more to come. So until next time, thanks for watching.